Early morning, huh? So some showers and storms are moving through. I wanted to jump on and let you guys know what's happening here. So this is the line that's moving through the mainly the greater Fort Smith area at the moment. It's a strong line of storms, but I'm not seeing a whole lot in the way of anything that's got any rotation on it. What I did want to show you though, as I loop this, you can see this line making its way east, and there was a reported wind gust here. Looks like it's closing in on about 60 miles an hour that came through Sallisaw earlier. That's moving right through Fort Smith now to the south southeast. We should get a feel for how it looks too once it moves over the airport, which it's doing right now. You guys are really getting hit by it. So this is a look at that line, and you can see the winds. The strongest winds right now are really moving into the greater Fort Smith area. Strong gusty winds here from west to east that are moving on through. Let me get right here and see if I can filter this out a little bit more for you. Right in here. Boy, there's some strong winds out towards Van Buren. That's along the line right now. So let's go over to street level mapping here and see if we can get a feel for where this is currently occurring, and then what happens next after it moves through. So let's see if I can pull that one up for you here. This is going to all be tracking towards the east and towards the southeast. There we go. So this is the new warning that was just issued. This also includes looks like Johnson County, Logan County, Paris, Boonville, Clarksville. The line of strong storms, though, the one we were just talking about here, man, right over us in Fort Smith from Free Ferry over to Park Avenue. Looks like Kincaid getting hit by it. The strongest right in there looks like East Valley Road. That's going to be along Gary Street. So that's the north side of 540. To kind of get your bearings here, this is where Phoenix and 549, sorry, 540 are right by the Target basically, and where they're building that new that Chick-fil-A there over on off of Phoenix. So as we look to the northeast, here's Phoenix running east. So you have that out there near Airport Boulevard. There's the Fort Smith Regional Airport. So the strongest part of the storm is moving through Gary Street, Valley Road, and then out towards Cliff Drive. So this is basically hard scrabble moving east. And then we have more storms here down to the south, right over the radar. You can tell when the storm gets over the radar, you don't get anything. That's the cone of silence there right above it as the radar beam is going up. A new scan there is putting it right near Barling out towards the east side of Fort Smith now, near Rogers Avenue. These storms, this is a severe warned thunderstorm, and the main threat with this is going to be the wind damage as well as hail. I don't see anything spinning right now, but I want to go back over and check and see if there's anything going on with that storm that's moving through. So let's take a look at that. 1 second here. Let me pull that thing up. All right, so I'm going to switch this um, over to radar and then look inside the storm here with the wind velocity again. Just scanning it out, looking for anything that's showing some rotation with the storm. I don't see anything right now that indicates we have anything spinning going on, but we do have some very strong winds here that just moved through the are moving through Fort Smith, headed towards Charleston, Paris, as well as Boonville. This is moving to the east. Again, what I was looking for on this one is going to be any kind of spin. See a little comma head there? So this is the northern side right there. This is the northern side of that system. So you get a little bit of a spin. The system, mesoscale convective systems. I know it's a mouthful, but the northern side of it, over time with the Coriolis effect, you'll get a little bit of a counterclockwise spin. Um, that's enhanced on the north side. You also get one on the bottom too. So I mean, it's not just that effect that's causing it, but you are getting a little bit of a spin on the north side. All that to say, north side of these systems is typically where you see sometimes find tornadoes and the strongest winds. It looks like that is the one that's moving through Van Buren right now. So that's the one with the strongest winds and right through Fort Smith and Barling. But other than the wind damage risk, which is definitely there, there's not a tornado threat at the moment. And then we should hopefully get a report here soon from the reporting site that's out there towards the airport. That's what I was looking for and hoping to pull up, but I haven't seen a wind gust yet in the popped up on the radar. But these storms are severe, moving east pretty quick here, especially in the Van Buren Barling area. I was gonna see if I could pull up maybe one of these cameras that's located there. How about eastbound on 59 maybe? Let's see what this looks like. It's black. There we go. That's looking eastbound. That's out towards exit 9. Look at the lightning. Good gracious. You can also see the wind pushing around the trees. Before I pulled this camera shot up, I thought I saw a few hailstones on the camera there as well. So some hail and some wind. Again, this is out towards the Van Buren area. Yeah, you can kind of see on the right side there what looks to be some hail that's falling. Back over to the radar screen here, again showing that line of storms that's moving in. This is moving west to east across Fort Smith out towards Alma. We also have some lightning and thunder. It's going on from Rogers to the north as well, but there's no severe threat um, north of the tunnel. Isn't that weird? It always seems like that. But basically, when you get north of the Crawford County line, that's where the storm intensity falls off. The highest intensity, here it is again for you. You can watch this thing move through. I think the strongest winds are hitting Alma right now, out towards 162, I-40, coming right down I-40, out towards Van Buren, east side of Van Buren, as well as Alma. Um, well, that's a strong storm, guys. This has got a lot of wind within it, and it's moving east pretty quick. Let's see if we can get this pulled up here near Alma. This is going to look west, so this is going to look right into the storm. So that's westbound there, near Alma. Let's watch these winds. These winds are actually looks like they're about to hit for the first time here in this area. So it's just now moving in, and it's getting loud too, isn't it? Again, this is east of Alma, looking westbound. So it's right there towards the interstate exit. Let's just get back to radar here. I don't see a whole lot on there other than and there's not a lot of traffic either. Of course, it is 4:30 in the morning on a Sunday, so you wouldn't expect to find a whole lot. But wow, look at the lightning here. All that to say, here near Alma, this is out towards the high school, south part of town. Um, that's going to be London Street, East Street, and then up towards Mulberry Street. So southeast side of Alma, and then you get into some stronger storms too that are out towards Kibler and the bottoms, out towards Oak Grove and 162, and then moving farther to the south. Here's Barling and Fort Smith, still getting hit by this thing. Um, Out towards Rogers Avenue, there's Dallas Street, south 91st, McKinnon Boulevard, Phoenix Avenue, and then eastward out towards Moody Road, and then Church Street out in Barling. So Barling really getting this now too. There's where the let's see here. Look a little closer at this thing. So there's the interchange. So the highway department's going to be right in here, basically, out towards Chaffee Crossing. Hey, I saw a truck driving right into that thing. Boy, he's going to have to slow down. There's another one. Again, that's looking west to Alma as this storm moves on in. Um, Back to the radar here. Lots of lightning, gusty winds here. Here's another loop of this. Let's see how this trends. So I really think, and you can see that the Weather Service has done a great job highlighting the strongest part of the storm here. You've got it from essentially south of Fort Smith near Boonville through Paris and Clarksville, and then you've got the northern side of it. So it's really this area going forward that has the higher risk. You can't see what I'm doing, can you? Come on, Garrett, wake up. There we go. It's that area that's got the highest risk for damaging winds. So we're talking Alma right now, Fort Smith. Just it's still ongoing in Fort Smith, but it'll wind down soon. Then Boonville and Paris, as well as Clarksville. So this is all moving west to east through the area here in Fort Smith. Let's see if we can get this off now, and then um, go back to the animation here. The tornado threat, guys, isn't super high with this. Of course, you can still get really bad wind damage. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a tornado to have damage. Um, Mulberry, I think you guys get probably the strongest. That westbound camera's picking up too. That's east of exit 13. So let me take you to that real quick. You're like, dude, I know it's thundering and lightning. I mean, everybody in the world's waking up here in the Fort Smith area because of all this stuff. That's still going on too. You can see it moving in right through the area. Let's see. There's the line. Alma, Dyer, Mulberry, back down through Lavaca now. Lavaca, it's about to hit. So the thunder and lightning's probably waking you up right now. That's going to be moving right over Central City, it looks like. Let's see if I can get a look for what it looks like in Fort Smith right now. That's northbound on 549. Still raining, still lots of lightning. The worst part of it's actually coming to an end here, this part of town. We're still under the severe thunderstorm warning. Um, but things do get a little bit better here as this thing moves through. And there's still quite a bit of thunder and lightning farther north as well. So, I mean, it's a pretty loud system. Guys, it's still May. I mean, this is the time of year we get these really nasty systems. Um, and really, when we get into June, the end of May into June is really where you transition into what's more of a northwest pattern, a northwest flow. These overnight complexes become more pronounced. Um, in the TV days, we used to call this MCS season, mesoscale convective system, which is what we're seeing here. These are a higher wind damage risk than anything as it moves through. And we'll get more of these too as we head into the next several weeks. And they'll trend more towards the overnight and early morning. What happens is there's a dry line out west, usually, or a front, and that touches off these things with daytime heating. And so we're kind of at the end of the gutter. And after those storms get going and they're supercells with tornadoes, they start heading east. And when they get east, then usually they start merging into a line and congealing into some kind of bow echo, which is what we're seeing here. So this is very common for the end of May and into early June. This has been really the first severe storm that we've had in the Fort Smith area so far this weekend, and really most of anywhere since what we didn't have much yesterday at all. Um, and then I mean, we had the rain that moved through, sure, but this is the bigger thunderstorm. And nothing really happened the day before that. And this one's going to blow through pretty quick. It's not going to be a washout all day today. You can see the length of this system here it's a little tight one too. Usually little tight bows like that, they really have more of a wind punch to them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did get some severe wind gusts that are in that storm. Let's go look for the wind. Speaking of, let's see. There we go. Looks like we've finally got a reported gust up there too. Whoa. Wowee. 67. Holy smokes. That's what was measured at the Fort Smith Regional Airport just a second ago. Wow. Yeah, that's a strong one there, guys, huh? So we had a gust at 67 miles an hour at the regional airport in Fort Smith. That tells me that this wind is still very, very strong here out towards Barling and Lavaca moving east. Let me get this for you real quick. Isn't that fascinating to watch? The wind speed inside the system. There's another reported gust. You had two. You had one. Um, this is hail just under 1 inch diameter at Phoenix Avenue. Train spotter reporting thunderstorm wind gust looks like 60 miles an hour. So that little blue pocket, blue, green, who knows, right? That little area right in here, the bright spot north of Barling and out towards Central City. I think this is where you guys are really experiencing some of the strongest wind speeds, just based on the wind report, as well as what it looks like on the radar too. So you got a little bit of both going on there. Um, that's all moving east, so that's headed into Lavaca up next, and let's see, still have it in Alma. Bet we get some kind of wind damage out of this. I bet we've already had it, right? Let's go back over to the source. There's the line right there. A lot of times on the leading edge of the line, sometimes you want to look for little pockets of rotation too. So that would be in this area. That's what I was just doing right through here from out towards Ozarks, Cecil back down through Charleston and Washburn. So that's the leading edge, right? See it? But there's nothing embedded on this leading edge that indicates to me that we have anything going on as far as a tornado goes. Lightning and thunder like bananas. Looks like we've got about 1 inch hail falling east of Lavaca, so about quarter size right now. But the pocket of wind is what I was really getting to, was that bright green color there. Boom. That's a lot of wind out towards Lavaca. Lavaca really getting hit with it right now, I think the most. Let's look at some of the streets in this thing. Here's Lavaca and Charleston. There it is, tracking to the east. Here, one more loop of this thing right there. Mulberry, Ozark. You get heads up in Ozark. Charleston, you guys get ready too. You're about to get hit by it. Looks like the strongest though is coming into Charleston and Branch right now, as far as the winds go. Inside Lavaca, there's East Main Street, South Division Street, 96, West Main, more towards Lavaca and more towards Steffi's Pizza than the beer can. Does that make sense? So this is more towards the north side of Lavaca where it's the strongest winds are, and some of that hail's falling. And then that is going to be. I'm watching. Watch this. Let's see this thing go through. Intensity came down a little bit, but you got to remember too that when the radar's got the storm right over it, it attenuates, and you don't really get. It's harder to actually see what's really going on there. Boy, Greenwood, we got it going on too, don't we? That's just Fort Chaffee getting hit with it now. There's 96. Here's Greenwood. There's East Center Street, Excelsior Road. The Walmart's going to be right here in right about 105 and 71. Heavy thunderstorms all the way down there through Witcherville, Big Rock, Dayton, Huntington. Heavy cell there, Huntington. I still think the stronger winds are still to the north though with this, and that's more towards Mulberry, Dyer, Lavaca, especially Lavaca and Charleston. I really think Lavaca just had those strong winds move through Charleston. You're up for it now. Matter of fact, Lavaca probably still has it going on with the strong winds. Um, there's the push though. Watch it again. Maybe it shows a little better on this source too. Yeah, Boonville, Paris, from just south of Ozark. It's a lot of wind, man. That's coming right into Charleston now as far as the damaging wind potential goes and hail. Again, we had a recorded gust at 67, so that's confirmed. I think gusts to 70 are easily going to happen with this thing. That's out towards Peter Pender, so it starts right where we were looking, and from just northeast of Lavaca and then running right through Charleston. Charleston's right on top of us, isn't it? This is the wind speed. I'll go ahead and pull up the radar for you to see too. So this is the radar. So the winds are just now hitting Charleston along West Main Street, 217, right along Highway 22. So coming out of Barling, getting into Charleston, boom. That's where these winds are strongest. And that's coming down Main Street, and we'll get into Branch and Ratcliffe as well, and Carbon City. It looks like too. Probably about 5-10 minutes out by the time that thing gets on in here. Let's look and see what we've got. There's Bloomer, Greenwood. Go to a wide view. I'm gonna go ahead and loop this again. While I'm looping it, I'm gonna see what you guys are saying here. Pulled up some of this. Kelly Joe saying hail in Alma about 15 minutes ago. Things blowing around outside Greenwood. Boy, I believe that. That thing is something else, isn't it? Look at that thing. It's still going on too. And Janelle's talking about the wind and Spyro that came through. Amanda just noted the power's out in Barling. Josh is saying it cleared out on Wheeler and Fort Smith. Got some hail going in Mansfield right now. I'll pull out a little more and show you that. Again, that's all west to east with this thing. Zach, wind speed in Lavaca just hit Mach Jesus. It's probably pretty close, right? I mean that's close to 70 miles an hour. It's really strong wind. Here it is again. Goes through Fort Smith. Oh, it's still going. Okay, now there is a little kink in the line right there, though. See it? So these are the little spots I was talking about a second ago that you got to watch out for occasionally for any kind of spin that goes on in the storm. Now, that's not very pronounced at all. Like I'm not that worried about it. I'm more worried about this line of wind, mostly because when you look at this thing, good gracious, from Charleston all the way to the southeast to just west of Boonville, that is where the strongest winds are really going right now. These are cranking here. Got the line here near Ozark, moving out towards the east. Just now going to pick up. Power out on top of Rye Hill. Lisa mentioned that. Many of you guys are probably watching this on your phone, huh? I hate when the power goes out with these storms because it's like I search around trying to find weather information. Usually, most of us are. I don't know who all's streaming right now, but I don't know. Look at that little kink in the line, huh? See what I'm talking about? Let's go to analyst. Let's just make sure there's nothing fishy going on over here. So here's a wide view. I'll loop this in with this one too to give you a look at it. No power. Van Buren's what Mike said. Power's out in Greenwood. No power south of Muldrow. Denise says she's got to clean up in the morning. I didn't get to the yard work today. I meant yesterday, whenever it was, Saturday. Towards Vienna, power internet went out momentarily. Wind's really the bigger issue here on this storm. Let's look at there's that little kink right there I was telling you about. So let's see if there's anything going on inside it. Not really. I don't see any kind of mezzo in that thing. Let me tilt the radar up. Hmm, let's see. I'll go back down. No, it's wind. It's wind is the big problem with this thing. I isolated any kind of rotation at all with this or damaging winds. I'm getting a little bit of a hit there along that kink. So we may have an area of enhanced winds that are just south of Ozark. Still going on in Charleston. A lot of you guys are talking about power outages. Power's out by the Coke plant. Um, I assume that's Coca-Cola, right? Like in Fort Smith. Let's see, powered out in Prairie Grove. So we had some outages farther to the north as well. No power out towards Milltown. Serious winds in Kibler. I believe it, man. That wind is something else. That's the kind of wind that wakes you up. Kind of sounds a little scary too, doesn't it? When you have those that wind just howling out the window, and then you got the flashes of lights like a strobe lights going on out there, and it's 4 in the morning. The kids are awake, dogs are awake. You got church coming up in a couple hours. You just want to know if it's going to rain and what else is going to happen. Well, we know it's going to rain, right? I mean, we've got these showers and storms that are still out there. Those are moving east. What's going to happen next? Will we clear out? It's not going to be an all day rain. Now, that said, look to the west. You still have some stuff floating around out towards Tulsa. I think we do get more storms today than we've had the last, 3 days or so. There's really not been much that happened up and down the I-49 corridor, at least Friday or Saturday. And as we head into Sunday morning, we've got the storms out there, and then these things still keep on going. There's lightning and thunder here from Rogers, and of course there's going to be thunder if there's lightning. Y'all bear with me. I need a little caffeine in my system. It's still pretty early. Jeremy said big winds and hail in Panama. No power either. Power's out in Kibler. Man, y'all have lost so much power. Good grief. So that tells me y'all in Ozark that heads up, and Clarksville and Paris and Boonville, that as it moves through, that you're probably going to lose power. Michaela said the power flashed out in Alma really quick. Wasn't enough to reset the clocks. That's good. So it's a little brief one, right? Power on and off. Penny said out there south of Greenwood. Connor said, "What a wake up call." No kidding, right? Man, here we go. Let's go back to this again. I'm going to loop this. I want to get a wide view of what's happening here, and then we'll get back into it. So there's the complex. For you guys that are just waking up and hearing the thunder out there in Ozark or maybe the wind, you can hear it out the window. Here's what's going on. We have this bow echo that's moved through the Fort Smith area, recorded a gust of 70 mile an hour. It looks like people got power out all over the place here from this thing. No power in Charleston went out, Hannah said just now. So that's moving east. And that whole bow, the leading edge of the line, is the strongest part to watch because that's where the wind damage threat's going to be the highest. This has moved out of Fort Smith. This is the all clear for you guys in Fort Smith. Y'all can go back to bed now. No big deal. Well, big deal if you've got some damage in the morning you got to pick up. And if you don't have power, it could be a big deal because it's going to be a little hot. But this line's moving to the east. It looks like it's into Ozark. It looks a little more jagged to me, so I'm looking at a couple different things on that. When I see it as a line that's very pronounced and defined, um, actually, I can tell you what's happening now just looking at it. But when you see it as a line that's defined, that's when you have the stronger winds. When it becomes a little less defined on the leading edge, the winds get a little bit weaker. What's happening here, and you guys can see what's happening, when the outflow boundary, that little line ahead of it, was merged right next to the squall line, that's when we had the strongest winds that came through Fort Smith and caused the power outages out through the east side of Fort Smith, out towards Barling and Alma and Greenwood. Now what's happening, you can see the line outpacing That red color, right? So you have the outflow boundary that's undercutting some of the new updrafts around Boonville. That's an indication the storms are starting to show a little bit of a weakening trend. It doesn't sound like it, and it doesn't look like it as far as looking out the window right now, but on radar, there is a little bit of a weakening trend as it moves more towards the east, just in that it's getting a little bit more jagged. That's true as long as we can look at the other radar source and make sure there's nothing spinning going on, because sometimes that happens too. So let's look at this again. And there's something fishy there, isn't there? Let's see. A little spot there northeast of Waldron. Has that been persistent? No, it hasn't. We'll see if that holds together. And then there's a little spot right here too, just north of Coxville. That has not been persistent either. And there's the line as it moved through Fort Smith. Is that another reported wind gust there? Man, we've had, or is that wind damage? It looks like. What do we have here? You've got signs blown down at the intersection of Zero Street and 45. So that's like the radar give you a better look at it. So that's towards the south side of Fort Smith. So we have had, you did get some winds, some signs that were blown down. I'm not sure what kind of signs they were. I was just thinking in my head, is it a stop sign that blew down, or is it a billboard? I mean, is it a McDonald's sign? Is it a wall? I don't know. The report was signs blown down though, which tells me the winds are strong, and also the wind gust that was measured at the airport was 70 miles an hour. Well, it was 67. Okay, so it's close enough. That's what caused so many power outages. I wonder if I can pull up some of the outages out there. Let's see. Yeah, Sebastian County, we've got over 2,000 without power. You got about 500 in Crawford County. Yeah, you've got a lot without power in Washington County as well, too. I wonder if one of those bigger lines went down. You've got as many people without power in Washington County as you do in Sebastian County. You've also got power outages now in Logan County popping up. You've also got some in Scott County that are starting to populate too. And those are probably just the ones that are being reported with this. I was checking Ozarks Electric just now. They've got about 47 people without power. Sure, OG&E's got several as well. They're going to continue letting this severe thunderstorm warning continue here. Looks like from Alma and Ozark. Boy, here we go in Ozark. Here comes the stronger part of the wind, and then south into Charleston. Yeah, Crystal says Barling, no power. Cindy says it was bad. Cindy, yeah, long time. Anybody else see Dorothy fly by earlier? It's too dark for Dorothy. She could be flying by, but I don't think it is. I don't think she's on her. Dorothy doesn't fly, does she? That's the witch. I mean, I guess she kind of does on the whole bike and everything, but let's hope for Glinda, the good witch. Here's Boonville Magazine. Look at the outflow boundary. So this is that leading push of wind that's out there on 10, just between the magazine and Boonville area. And then you've got more too near Waldron that are moving in. That's the tail end of it, though. I don't think I'm not as worried about the winds in Waldron as I am right here in Ozark and Charleston. I really think this is the area to watch here for some of these stronger winds. You can probably get a feel for that line too in Ozark. Let's look westbound from the iDrive camera there. Oh, cool. You can see the shelf cloud. So look in actually, it's moving overhead. And you look at the lightning flashes. This is why storm spotting at night's a bad idea. You can't really see anything until the lightning flashes. But you can see a little the line. Just catch it there in between the flashes. That's looking westbound on I-40. And occasionally in Ozark, you can see that lowering that's out there. It looks kind of like a wall cloud. It's not. What we're looking at is more of a shelf cloud that's just west of Ozark. That's near the interstate. Boy, that's a lightning flash. You get these storms in spring, and there's just something about them with all the instability in the atmosphere. They're just more fierce. They just sound they everything about it is just more fierce. You got 1 inch hail that was reported in Fort Smith. Let's see here. That's what I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at this little curly Q thing out towards Web City. Nope, nothing there to worry about. Let's see. Let's check this source and let's animate this. I mean, there might be a small spin. It's a stretch. Really, the wind is the bigger deal here, and that's from Paris to Boonville. Boonville, we're getting hit hard right now, aren't we? Man. So let's go into Boonville. Let's see here. Drop south. Yeah, so those strong winds are just now hitting North Broadway in Boonville, West 8th Street, West Main Street. And then when you get into Glendale, it really starts to come down. That's around the old Highway 10 and new Highway 10 here looking north and south. So um, Washburn, east, right along 10. The north side of 10, it really gets even heavier here. Can get see if I can get that to populate. That's going to be Phillips Road. So if you're north of Glendale and Boonville along Phillips Road, that's where some of the strongest winds are appearing. Man, there's a really strong cell here too near 41, and let's see here. That's going to be along Coles Chapel Road here, just north of Metcalf Hill on 41. I've ridden my bike out in this area here several times. This is going to cross over 23. Peter Pender, man, we've got some strong storms here too. That's along 288. Looks like it's, let's see here. Trying to get a road to populate. How about these fine folks? Let's see if that'll pull. No, it won't pop up. East of Peter Pender, out towards Etna, north of 41. That's going to be along. Is that Oak Bend Road? It looks like. Yeah, Oak Bend, and then Lowe's Creek Road. That's near the Peter Pender area, and it just picked up really bad in Ozark. I mean, well, it's been going on for about the last 5-10 minutes or so, hasn't it? There's East Commercial Street, North Third Street, right along the Arkansas River in Ozark. The river bridge is going to be here south of town. So there's the Arkansas River right through here. So you, basically, it's over downtown Ozark right now. From West Market Street out through West College, North 4th Street, West Main, and West River Street. Downtown Ozark getting hit with it pretty hard now. West Spring Street, you guys are probably going to lose power. I wouldn't be surprised if you all lost power with this at all. Starting from around Ozark and then going into Etna and then out towards Ratcliffe. Let's see here. I'm just animating this to get a close look at this as it moves through. What I'm looking for on the back side of these systems, when you get a really strong bow echo, you can get the bow, and then there's something that'll develop. There's one here. It's not as pronounced as what you'd see in a textbook, but you essentially have this line, right? So you have the line of storms. This is where you get the wind damage on the leading edge of the line. So the wind damage threat is going to be right here, starting about Ozark, moving east, and then also out towards just south of Boonville and Waldron. So this is the area to watch for damaging winds. Like I said, the Weather Service did a great job drawing the polygon here to reflect where the strongest winds are going. So you have two more features to watch, or at least that I'm looking for. Well, three if we want to get down to it. But the north side of this system, you get a little bit of an enhanced area of spin right in here. It's a very broad area of spin. This is the north side of that bow echo. Occasionally, you can get some rotation pockets in there that can produce tornadoes. There's nothing that I've seen on here that indicates that at all right now. So that's good. That's the one in our favor. Um, Along the leading edge, what I look for is I'm looking for any kind of little small curl in there. Sometimes that's indicative of a spin up tornado. Don't see that either. What I am starting to see, and what brought up this whole point is I want you to notice how there's a drop off in reflectivity from Salisaw back through Fort Smith, right in here. Notice how there's just a weak return. This is a weak echo channel or rear inflow jet that's occurring behind the initial squall line. So you've got one that runs north south and east west, but this rear inflow jet right through here is what you look for the strongest wind. So putting all this together, you have that north side of the curly Q, right, and you've got the weak echo channel. You've got the line right there. I can just look at this right now and say the strongest winds are almost certainly from just north of Paris through Boonville, right here. This lines up with where that echo is really punching the hardest and where that jet's pushing on the backside and really shoving that thing out. Um, Now the line isn't as, like I said, it isn't as pronounced as it was when it moved through Fort Smith, but it's still got plenty of lightning in it, and it's still got some very strong winds. And it's over us in Altus now, so out towards Whitaker Village, Denning, Coal Hill. Who knew we had a Kalamazoo? But out towards Kalamazoo, I think I actually did know that. But Gray Rock, Paris, Paris is about to pick up on us here, so we're going to get it in Paris here shortly. Waldron, it looks like we've got showers and storms that are on top of us and really right over us in Boonville too, and then Magazine. So Magazine's going to be up next with this, and there's just a lot of lightning. I was looking at the Ozark camera off this camera here. Look at this. This is east of Ozark, actually, looking westbound. So I think the gas station in Ozark is there um on the left. Of course, yeah. There, I was gonna say, yeah. There's lightning everywhere until I pull the screen up. New scan on that. Look at the rain curtains. You can see it from the car headlights, truck headlights. Couldn't even see it was a truck. It's really coming down in Ozark. Now lightning is just almost nonstop from Ozark to the south. Some of those stronger winds probably hitting Paris right now, and Magazine and Boonville. Weather Services tagged this 70-mile-an-hour winds. Let's look at the statement real quick. Usually I read these off camera. Look at the bottom of the severe weather statement, and there's little tags on the bottom. I don't know if y'all ever noticed this. But see how it says thunderstorm damage threats considerable. That's a higher end thunderstorm damage risk. But sometimes it'll say tornado dot 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 possible, and so that's a tornado tag. There's not one on this, but often what I'll look at is the tor tags on that to see if the weather service is concerned about any kind of tornado on it developing. There's not a tornado tag, and there shouldn't be because it doesn't look like there's any kind of risk with it with this. But again, just keep in mind, damaging winds can be just as bad as a tornado. In some cases, worse, like what we saw in Bentonville about a year ago. Good night. That was a lot of wind. You couldn't tell. I really think there are some spots the wind damage in Bentonville was worse than the actual tornado, especially on the west side of Walton. There, it was awful. I'm gonna go back to let's see here. I'm gonna go back here. Just curious what the power outages look like here. Yep, they're starting to spread east now, out through out through Logan County. That's going to be tracking eastward, Paris, Ozark. Is there any kind of spin on that west of Paris? Nope. Man, though, look at the wind, guys. This is you guys ahead of this thing. Take note of what's happening right now in Paris and in Boonville. That wind is just going. Now, what is happening is the radar beam does get higher with time, so you're sampling a higher part of the atmosphere. Earth's round after all. I know I'm controversial about that. The Earth is round. But as the radar beam leaves and goes up, it's sampling a higher part of the atmosphere, and so what you're going to see is the velocity images change somewhat as it moves away, and you sample a higher part. It doesn't really matter with this one though. I mean, there's just a lot of wind. This is the wind speeds that I'm looking at here. So when I zoom in, don't flip out and think it's reflectivity. I just want to see where the strongest winds are. 109, 109, 309, Horley, Pleasant Hill, Magazine, and it's strong in Magazine. I bet it's nuts up at the lodge right now. There's a real big pocket here. Now you can kind of tell where this is. If you look real close here on this, right here's where Blue Mountain Lake is. So that's just south of Blue Mountain. And then look to the west. There's a really strong gust of wind here that's moving east. Looks like it's right near Blue Mountain Lake on the last scan, along P Ridge Road. That's P Ridge in Logan County, not Sebastian. And then we've got another strong gust here that's about to move into Corley. Um, that's a really strong wind gust. I'm trying to populate that road. That's going to be Robert Hill Road. So you guys west of Corley along Robert Hill have got that wind going. Jay said just lost power in Boonville, Subiaco, right over us on Arkansas 22, and then that's going to run right through Subiaco. It's over us in Subiaco now. Augustine Street, um, Boniface, John, Elskin Street, Menard Avenue. Man, there's just a lot of lightning with this stuff. No power in Peter Pender. Let's see, let me go back to the reflectivity. Here's a wider view of it. So I've been focusing on the stronger winds. Looks like the Weather Service is now putting a new warning out on this. Same thing. They're still watching. They're watching the same thing that we were just talking about, where that bow is moving. So let's see what the Weather Service did on this one. They've tagged. They tagged this anything with a tornado? Nope. But they do have thunderstorm damage threats considerable, which is a Weather Service way of saying we think we're going to have damage. I was just looking at the leading edge. I still see the outflow boundary that's outpacing the line. This will undercut any kind of rotation. Where they merge, though, like little spots like that, those are little spots I sometimes will key in on. That's something fishy. Let's see. With the Blue Mountain. There's another wide view. I'll do a wide view first so you can see this wall of wind. You know, if you're like, why did the color change? Why do we go from like green to reds like that? Well, winds moving towards the radar are green, winds moving away are red. If you think about like the outer space and the red shift, think about away as in red shift, moving away out in space. So the red colors are moving away from the radar. The radar site, and this one is located here in Fort Smith looking east. So you can see the darker red here moving away from it. 1 inch hail reported west of Charleston, too. That pocket of wind there is really strong. That's south of Subiaco. So you guys think about that. I mean, you saw what it looked like a moment ago in Ozark with some of the heavy wind and rain that are out there, and lightning, thunder, everything else. It sounds really loud from Ozark to Coal Hill, but when you get south of that, the storm's even worse. That's in Driggs and Paris, south of Subiaco, over Magazine, Waldron east. So east of Waldron, there's some very strong winds. Those are headed out towards Blue Ball. If you're new to the area, yes, there is a town in Arkansas called Blue Ball. We have worse. Here's Paris and Boonville. So that's going to be over Magazine and just northwest of Havana, where those stronger winds are happening. There's another look at it. Boy, that line is something else, isn't it? This is just a classic bow echo that's racing through here. Look at that thing haul. That stuff is noisy to the south in Huebner and Tallahena, Poto now. I'm not worried about it at all. It's more along the southern edge. Weather Service didn't warn on it. I don't blame them. And then you can see the northern extent here. Still, I mean, this is just coming right down the river valley here. Right, the comma head is essentially following the Arkansas River, isn't it? The north side of the bow. That thing is just hauling. Let's recalibrate the radar source here. Go back to velocity. Little curls on this thing. But again, see how the radar's starting to look a little different here with the storms getting farther and farther away from the Fort Smith radar. As you get farther away, usually I'll change radar sources about Clarksville and then switch over to Little Rock. Let me look at this one more time, guys. Not much. Pocket of rotation there. It's just not much. The wind damage is by far and away the worst. Backing up a few steps here and then going forward, showing the strongest now near Coal Hill, east of Ozark, northeast of Altus, moving into Clarksville now here momentarily. Paris and Subiaco. You guys in Fort Smith, if you're still watching this, go back to sleep or just I usually start my day. This sounds weird, isn't it? I used to complain about getting up in the mornings when I was younger, and now it's like I get up at like 4:30 without even trying now most of the time. But if you're going to be up the rest of the day, it's not going to rain all day. You'll be able to get out there and see what kind of damage this thing did. I bet you somebody lost a trampoline. Stephen was asking what's velocity and what does it tell us? This is a good point. Velocity is basically looking at the wind speeds inside the storm. So I can see this shows the reflectivity. I'll show you a couple different products. So reflectivity here is showing us where the rain is. That's what everybody's pretty much sees on TV when meteorologists talk about the weather, right? Base velocity is the wind speeds in the storm. So this is filtering out where the stronger winds are. It's looking at the storm and saying, where are the winds moving? Are they moving towards the radar or moving away from the radar, right? And then what we can do is we can turn on something called storm relative velocity. So this subtracts the forward wind speed. So when you got a storm that's moving hauling like this at 60, 70 miles an hour, let's take away that forward wind speed. So just show me where the strongest winds are, regardless of where the winds are pushing. And that's what this does. So, excuse me, nothing like choking on your spit at 5 in the morning. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So then we filter that out, and then I can see it dies down a little bit, right? So that's why I was looking real close at this area here because on base velocity, sure, it's a lot worse. But when I filter out the forward wind speed, I don't see anything that's, well, there is something. There's one little spin. You just caught it right there near Subiaco. There is one little pocket there. It's not actually the spin, though, that you would associate with a tornado. You can get little eddies. And the reason that is, let's see here. You have the red colors pushing away and green moving towards. That's a clockwise spin. That's more of a gusty downburst wind that's occurring here, as opposed to a tornado, where you would see more of the red on the bottom side of the dark green. Tilt the radar up though, see if there's some kind of mezzo going on in there. There is some kind of stronger wind speeds near Scranton that are stronger than elsewhere in the area. So those are a couple different products that we look at. There's also one that will tell us how much liquid is in a column of air. We can use this as a hail proxy to say where's the hail strongest. This is called vertically integrated liquid, which is another fancy five letter. That's a more liquid. Yeah, that's more than five. $5 word. Is that what I'm trying to say? Bear with me, y'all. It's early. Notice we lost the darker colors. That tells us the volume of water in the atmosphere in these storms has come down, which is two things. It could have dumped all the hail out of it, and or it could just be weakening in intensity. But if we stop it, we can tell you where it is hailing right now, and that would be right there. So it would be west of Scranton near Coal Hill and out towards Hartman is probably where the hail is going to be falling. So that's going to be yeah, so that's going to be right there near Morrison Bluff to the west side of Morrison Bluff here. A couple more products to look at. Normalized rotation will filter out where the rotation is occurring. And notice it did populate here south of Scranton. So this is what we were talking about here on the velocity image here with a little pocket of rotation there. It did key in on that. And then we can look at something called correlation coefficient. Love all these $5 words. Yeah. Um, correlation coefficient here tells us if there's debris in the storm. You have to look at this in conjunction with velocity and see if they line up, or you can just let the algorithm do it. I just prefer to do it manually. It gives me a better idea. And then potential estimated hail size, maximum estimated hail size. There's a lot of different products I'll look at behind the scenes here off camera. But that's what velocity is, and that's what it does for us. They trim back the warning here across Franklin County, the west side of the county. It's winding down in Ozark. It blew through us hard here in Paris and in Scranton. Boonville is on the back end of it. I know there's still a lot of lightning and thunder going on. So next on deck for this thing is Scranton and Clarksville. It's trying to get us a shot here, guys, that shows the storm moving in. Here, oh, here's a good one. This is looking south from Morrison Bluff. Now it's black and white, which I don't know, it kind of works better. Look at the line out in the. So that's the shelf cloud moving in. Someone's driving straight into it. Boy, y'all are in for some noise, and hail in the car is the worst, isn't it? It is coming down. This is out towards Morrison Bluff. This is looking south into the storm. Not enough white there for the RDOT camera to pop up with the iris to give us some color, but you can see the Arkansas River there, and occasionally, with out in the distance, you can see that line, which is um, the shelf cloud that's pushing in. Let's go to this radar. So we were looking right in here at the strongest part of the storm, actually. Let's see. Well, at a minimum, we're going to have an enhanced wind damage risk south of Scranton here near Prairie View. That's going to come right down 22. This moved over Subiaco just a second ago. Let's see. All right, so here we go again. I think it's just racing east. That's this new warning bulletin real quick. Actually, it's not the one that we've been looking at before. They've got it moving east at 50 miles an hour with wind gusts to 70 from the Weather Service in Little Rock. The one that's about to expire from the Weather Service in Tulsa had it moving east at 60. 1 inch hail. 1 inch hail is borderline. It's really the wind speeds that are the worst with this thing more than anything else. Really coming down here now from Subiaco out towards Morrison Bluff. So we can go back to that camera. Yowza. Could be hail, could be rain, could be buckets of rain. That's wild. Look at the wind. It's like horizontal with the rain, isn't it? Wow. You can see this stuff move through in real time now. I can't make out if those are hailstones or not. But what I can tell is just the direction of the rain. You can see the streak across the camera is more horizontal than vertical, and usually rain comes from the top to the bottom, not from the right to the left. So this is very wind-driven rain with this. Again, this is out towards Morrison Bluff. Wow. It's a powerful storm, guys. Going back to this source and let's see. Let's look at this one first. It's that enhanced wind damage there from near Morrison Bluff. Man, we were looking right at the heaviest part. Matter of fact, that camera just went down, so I bet they lost power in Scranton. Meanwhile, in Clarksville, it's moving in. Look at that. Let's see what that thing's doing. There is a little curl there. See it? Let's look at this one real quick. The little things like this stand out to me. The thing that caught my eye was the reflectivity. It looks like a little hook, right? Then I went to velocity. I'm like, okay, there is something there after all. Now I'm going to go to normalized rotation, and there's still something there too. So there's another little batch of rotation there to watch north of Havana. Morrison Bluff, though, man, we're just getting pounded right now. And they're saying the wind sounds awful in Clarksville. Hail and the storm that moved through the Coxville area starting to calm down in Boonville, north of Subiaco. Kenny saying on Cottontown Road, lots of wind but no hail. Sky's still growling. I know. I bet it is, right? Let's look at this again. It's kind of lining up northwest to southeast. We're losing a little bit of that bow look to it. Someone needs to call RDOT and ask them why all their cameras in Clarksville point east. We can't look west. We want to see west. We want to see the storm system moving in. There's one in Lamar. We can see the shelf cloud on it. This is near exit 64. Boy, that's nasty looking, isn't it? Watch it again. You can see the top of the screen, the lowering there. Not a wall cloud. That's a shelf cloud. That's a wall cloud is warm air going up. A shelf cloud's cool air pushing out. There it is. So that's what's moving in. It looks gnarly out there in Clarksville right now, doesn't it? There it is again. And it's going to keep trucking through Clarksville, looks like. Lamar, Knoxville, right down the interstate here, just west of 40, near Hartman, 109. Looks like this thing's going to track in towards Knoxville and London. Clarksville, though, you guys are getting hit right now. Game on in Clarksville. This is where the storm's starting to hit us. Jenna saying loud in Clarksville on 40, no hail though. Power's out in Clarksville. Sounds horrible. I bet it does. No power Coal Hill, no power Spiro. Man, I can hear that. I'm in Rogers right now. I'm a I'm right here on the west side of the interstate right now. I can hear thunder outside from the storms that just moved through Fayetteville and Elkins. It's still thundering in Fayetteville, and this stuff isn't even bad. And you get into bad stuff, it's like a nonstop flash. The new scan should have just updated Clarksville. No power Boonville, no power Clarksville, calming down Ozark, um, Shady Grove along Sterling Hurley Highway, West Clark Road, South Crawford Street in Clarksville, Tonklin, Dublin, Scranton, starting to calm down in Ozark after all that stuff. And see, that's the thing. It's like it's calming down in Ozark. What's wild about that is the worst part of the storm left us about 30 minutes ago. And so, I mean, the intensity and duration of this, it lasts a while. It's not just something that's like here and then it's gone. I mean, it's going to move in. It's going to cause a lot of wind damage potential at first, and then it's just going to rumble and growl for almost 30 minutes to an hour behind it before it finally simmers down a little bit. And then you'll hear an occasional clap here and there of thunder. No power out in Paris. Still a lot of thunder, even in Panama. Jeremy just mentioned that. Look, you can see. Of course, we do have some stronger storms out to the south there, but not much. You get in the thunder and lightning in Panama, and there's hardly any red colors on the radar, indicating a weaker intensity, but still, nonetheless, right? Boonville Paris starting to trend down as far as the severe risk goes. I think the highest risk for everyone right now is Clarksville, and it's a wind damage threat into the Clarksville area, and that's coming in over downtown Clarksville right now, near Jamestown, New Spadra, moving east at 50 miles an hour, moving east pretty quickly. See if we can get a shot here. What's going on? Oh, exit 55 in Clarksville. I mean, these cars stopped on the interstate. Look at that camera. I was trying to see if that was a truck that was stopped and got pulled over, or if it was just two cars that pulled over. I can't really tell because the rain's coming down so hard. Again, that's exit 55. So this is big time right now in Clarksville as far as the winds go. It's pretty much the strongest. The this radar. I'm sorry. That's the camera image, right? So looking eastbound. That's the radar image of 50 exit 55. The strongest is right over us right now on that camera. That's the dark purple color. That's where the strongest storm is. And then if you track that east, it basically moves right over Clarksville. See what I mean? So that's going to come right down 40. We'll have that coming up on the next exit, which is 57. And I feel like RDOT has a camera there too. They do. So that's coming into 57. That's what it looks like. That's looking eastbound. So the storm's to our back here, moving right in front of us. I'm looking for a couple things on this. First of all, I'm looking to see if I see any power flashes from power lines going down. Those are going to be the bright blue or purple flickers. Hard to see at night, I know, especially with all the lightning. I'm also looking at the trees there on the right side of the screen, see what kind of movement we have, see how much they're leaning over. And I'm looking at the road at the bottom. Look at the rain curtains that are moving in. Man alive, that is a heavy winded rain. Okay, you got a little bit of branches getting blown around. You can see some of that debris being thrown here and there, being pulled off the trees. Everything's it's pretty leafy. And we could actually use this. We need more rain actually this year. It hasn't been as active here as it's been in the eastern side of the state. That's eastbound at exit 57. The wind in Clarksville, man, it is a howling. Back to the radar source here. There's a new scan. Yep, right over us. Is right over that camera now. So I think we might be able to pull. Let's get ahead of the storm one more time. That's exit 57. So let's go to exit 58. Here it comes on 58. You can still see the camera now, but you won't see it for long. Get a real good shot of the vegetation there on the right side too to see how this tree takes a beating. That storm is coming into this exit. So the three Clarksville exits now, and then it looks like you got some cars and trucks and semis that are trying to make. There's one guy. Oh, this is my highway. I'm in front of everyone. I don't care if there's a storm. There's always that one person, huh? And they always end up in the ditch. Um, so traffic's just moving slow. That's on I-40 looking eastbound. You can see this thing start to fade now because of the wind and the hail. Sorry, the wind and the rain is so strong that it looks like the semi stopped. That's the leading edge. So that's what's happening near Clarksville. We're looking at the exit, which is the third one. So I think we're right. That's 58, right? Yeah, right in here is where we're looking at 57, 58. So um, looking right into the storm here. That's the strongest part. The strongest part's on the interstate. It's not over, right over downtown. Might as well be though. I mean, as far as it sounds out there, it's not that different from north to south. That's looking eastbound. Looks like the cars are stopped, semi stopped there. Let's go back to the radar. So those were the little three exits lined up on 40 from 57, 55, 58, and then the intensity starts to fall east of there on along the interstate. But boy, a wild ride there for many of you in Clarksville right now. Along East Poplar, South Rogers Street, Cedar Street, Vine Street, South Grandview Avenue. Let's see here. East Poplar, East Main, East Cherry Street. What do we got? Willow Way, Mill Road, R.H. Qualls Drive, out towards Spadger Creek, right over us in Clarksville and Jamestown, especially south of town there, right along the river. From South Rogers Street out towards Marina Drive and then River Point Road, just south of Clarksville. It's actually a lot stronger there. So that's going to keep tracking eastward. And then it'll start to wind down a little behind it. I'll take you back to 55, exit 55. So you can see the visibility's improved. It's still raining. It's still thundering. It's still really loud and ugly out there. But the most intense part don't last for about what 15 minutes or so, and then it starts to wind down. So the most intense part just hit us in Clarksville, and it's going to start winding down from west to east. We were looking at this exit camera right there near Shady Grove. So here's a new scan. Let's see what this one does. Still east side of Clarksville. What I'm gonna do real quick here is scan for any kind of rotation, see what else is going on from north to south. Again, it's a bow echo. Looks like we have some more stragglers up there too, which could move through this morning. I don't think we get another complex to organize, um, but it looks like the way those are tracking, we may get some of this stuff that actually does move into parts of Benton County maybe later. So, I mean, it is potentially more showers and storms. It's going to be more active today than it was yesterday, that's for certain. And I'll tell you this: out of all the days, Monday is the day to watch for strong to severe storms that are going to be have a higher tornado potential. It's looked like Monday for like the last week. I know it's weather alert impact, supercalifragilistic, oh my god day. No, 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 no. Back up. Monday's the day to watch for strong storms that could cause tornadoes. Other than that, we're going to get these complexes that move through frequently here for the next month. It's May, it's spring, it's heading into June. This is the time of year in Arkansas we get this stuff. It's not uncommon, it's not unusual or anything. What's unusual about it is on Monday, the dynamics are in place for the tornado potential to be high, the wind potential to be high, and the hail to all be high. So you really have all three coming together on Monday. This is a quick system that's moving through overnight. This complex rolls through fast. It didn't even rain on hardly for most of us on Saturday or even Sunday. I guess we had the rain on in Fort Smith or sorry, Friday and Saturday. I don't even know what day it is right now. I think we had the rain on early Saturday, but other than that, I mean, it hadn't even been. We hadn't hardly had anything. I do think Monday though is the day to watch when we could have something, and especially for the tornado potential. That's the day that we should focus on and highlight is Monday for tornadoes. For the rest of this evening, you're going to see this thing track east. It's moving over Clarksville. And one final look here to see if we've got any rotation or anything on the leading edge. I mean, there's some pockets here and there, but there's nothing pronounced. And it looks like the worst wind is over Clarksville on the east side, and that's moving out towards the east. So we still have it moving in, and we'll still get more storms that track in as well. So that line of showers and storms is going to move east, and Fort Smith in the clear, and wind damage potential coming out of Clarksville and then getting into Russellville. That's going to do it for me. I'm going to go make some coffee. I got the Starbucks and the Keurig. So that's my next step. And then after it dries out a little bit, I'm going to try to do some yard work today because I didn't get to it yesterday. And there's like 2 bushes that have Christmas lights on them. I don't know what that says about me. I don't really care, but I am on the HOA board, so I feel like I need to like follow our bylaws a little more than the other people down the street. So I'm trying to get those off, and I'm going to unplug them before I do, so it's not a shocking experience. Too much lightning going around for now. If you guys are without power, I hope you get power soon. And it comes back on, they should be able to restore power. It's not like it's going to rain all day at all today. This initial line will move through, and then we get another line, maybe even overnight tonight, Sunday into Monday, and then Monday again is the day to watch for the stronger storms. I'm going to wrap it up here. Been going for a little more than an hour. Starting to get a little bit, starting to lose my voice a little bit. I can't believe I used to do this for 4 or 5 hours, huh? So that's moving through Russellville, and I'll keep an eye on it this afternoon. Probably do some more weather updates. Good morning to you on a Sunday. What a rude morning wake up call, huh? But since you're up and around, if you have any damage too, you can post that on this page, and I'll share those pictures too. All right, have a great day, guys. I'll probably see you back here at some point. And again, keep an eye on tomorrow. Monday is the day to watch for storms that have a higher tornado potential. I'll see you back here next time we have these storms roll through.